Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. It's a Sunday morning, quite quiet. After a lot of rain, rain has battered the garden. I'm finally able to get out and do a little bit of work. This morning's project is one that I've been looking forward to doing from about 10 days ago since I purchased this hydrangea. I actually got this on the Facebook market at a good price for quite a mature shrub. However, I believe it's root bound. It needs a bit of rejuvenation, repotting, and just feeding. So today you'll come along with me and watch how I revive this hydrangea. It's rapidly growing. In fact, when I got it, it was mostly twigs, but with the rain, it's beginning to put on a lot of new growth. And I want to do the repotting before it really puts on new growth to sort of avoid stressing the plant. So this morning, that's what I'm about to do. So to get started, I'll go through a list of the items that I'll be needing. First and foremost is the plastic pot. I've got a very large 55 cm diameter pot. It's got no drainage holes at the moment, but we'll be addressing that shortly. Next, I've got this loppers, bypass lopper. I have a handheld secateur, which is my only equipment for cutting, but there are some pretty big twigs that are dead in this plant, and I believe I needed something a bit more. This is a Miracle Grow azalea, camellia, and rhododendron feed. Also very important for hydrangeas, which are acid-loving plants. You want to get the right feed to make your plant happy. And this is a bag, a newly opened bag of ericaceous potting mix. Because again, as I said, it's an acid-loving plant, the hydrangea. You want to make sure that you're getting the right feed to keep your plant happy, especially it being in a pot. It needs to have the right environment that you've created for it. And finally, I went ahead and laid down some old cardboard box because it can get a bit messy when I'm trying. In fact, I don't know how easy it will be trying to get it out of a pot, because according to the previous owner, it's been there a couple of years, and the last bit of it is trying to get holes, drainage holes at the base of my pot. There are pre sort of outlined holes just here, 4 sides, but these haven't actually been made. You can go ahead and use a drill, but for myself, I'll just do that using a knife, a pointed knife. I'll do that off camera, but there's nothing special to it. If you have a drill, that will be very quick, and then I'll do that off camera with a knife, and then we'll get repotting. As you can see, I'm trying to get rid of all the old twigs. The loppers were quite helpful, as some of the branches were quite thick. I just carried on, as you see. Make sure they're not viable ones, and I'll just snip them down as close as possible to the trunk. I go ahead to snip off the pot with the help of the lopper. It was a bit difficult, but I had already done the first side off camera, and you can see the roots are a bit tangled. And then I continue to take off as much soil as possible. Right. I finally, after a bit of a struggle, managed to get it out of its old container. And I've gone ahead and knocked off a lot of the old soil. I've done it as safely as I could without damaging the roots, to give this a good chance of making contact with fresh ericaceous compost. So now the next stage will involve me filling the new pot with fresh soil. As I said, I would make holes off camera. I did. I made 6 large-sized holes in there. So the first thing I'll do is put some large pebbles at the base of the pot. That I believe everyone believes helps with drainage. Although hydrangea, they are water-loving plants, but in a plastic pot one has to be reasonable about the amount of water, but not to be waterlogged, but they're water-loving, hence the name Hydrangea. Right, so I've got some pebbles and I'll just pop them in. Just a layer enough to cover the holes without blocking them, and then I'll go ahead and fill the bottom of it with some fresh compost. I'll advise you to read the instructions. It says to sprinkle 75 grams around the base of the plant for established plants, but because I'm repotting, I won't be able to sprinkle at the base of the plant, so I'll work it into the soil as you would do for a new plant. I'll do a little bit now and more afterwards. Right, and I will get my baby into its new pot. I think that's sitting a bit too high, so I'll take out more compost from the base of it. Yeah, I think that's much better now. So I'll just carry on and I'll backfill with the ericaceous soil. I might add a little bit more feed into the bucket and add more compost, and then I'll backfill. Now I have backfilled with soil as much as I think is needed to cover the root. I still got space at the rim of the pot for adequate watering. Now what is left for us to do is to give it a lot of water to make sure we get rid of any air pockets, and to bear in mind that I may need to put more soil, because after watering the soil may fall, and then I'll keep an eye out, and if there's need be, I still got more compost to do that with. So the next step is to fill with water. Now I can see water running out of the base, so that's a good sign. I might just hold off a bit. I can see water running off the bottom of the pot now. That's a good sign. I'll let it settle a bit, and then I'll do that again, just to make sure I get rid of all the air pockets in there. And as I said, some of the compost will settle down, and I can see that happening already. So I'll just backfill, particularly here, I'll just backfill with more compost. Right, I'm happy now with the degree of, with the amount of water in, and I'm happy that the drainage is very nicely showing at the bottom. It's going out to the pot as I want it to be. I hope it lasts. And then I'll let this settle and put it in its new home. And that's it. And thanks for hanging around with me and watching as I repot and rejuvenate this old hydrangea plant. I hope you've learned something, at least I have. And thank you for watching. Bye.